It's this bizarre story that everyone continues to talk about. Star linebacker and runner-up for the Heisman Trophy, Manti Te'o, says he's the victim of an internet hoax, a big one.
The girlfriend that he claimed died just before a crucial game this fall against MSU turns out doesn't even exist. But there are a lot of questions still unanswered here. And this morning, former Detroit Lions linebacker Ty Hallock is joining us in studio to talk a little bit about this here. And it has to be freaking you out, too. You're like the rest of us here. Even Randy Moss, of all people, has said that this is one of the craziest things he's ever heard.
Yeah, I think we're all reeling. I mean, I think the only person that, quite frankly, is the best Manti Te'o fan this week is probably Lance Armstrong. I mean, it's crazy how this thing has kind of went along. But, you know, if you look at Te'o, I'm not sure how to take all this. I kind of feel it's reminiscent a little bit of the Penn State story in terms of there's so much stuff flooding at us right now, and it's so gray, and we're not hearing from some of the key people here. You'll wonder, okay, what is the real story?
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's going to be coming out here, I think, over the next few days and few weeks. Yeah,
so he's supposed to be like a first-round draft pick for the NFL. Is this kind of attention going to affect that?
I think so. I think in the end, if you look at Manti Te'o's status, he is thought to have been or be a top 10 pick. I think a lot of general managers are probably going to scratch their head a little bit and say, okay, if this story ends up being true and he took part to try to elevate his status, perhaps we should look at this a little bit differently. All things are looked at, especially with those top picks.
Yeah. And what's this do for the program at Notre Dame, too? They've been taking it on the nose here recently. Brian Kelly was talking to the Philadelphia Eagles, and then all of a sudden you have this scandal go down, and they're standing behind the player. What's that do to the program, recruiting, et cetera?
Well, I think in the long run, it'll be another issue that they've dealt with, and hopefully they deal with properly, at least from the terms of the university's standpoint. For Brian Kelly, as a personal friend of mine, I mean, I feel bad for him. I mean, these are things that, you know, he's got 120 young men that are on that roster, plus or minus some guys, and there's always issues you have to deal with. And he's had a rough road since he's been at Notre Dame. This is just another one of those things that he would have no control over, but yet they have to deal with. So it'll be interesting to hear from him, continue to hear from the university, and hopefully at some point hear from Manti Te'o so we can kind of flush this thing out and let us all kind of have the opinions that we wish to have, because right now everybody's scratching their head wondering, did he know, didn't he know, and we just don't know that at this point.
We need to hear from some of those key players. What about the pressures of being a college athlete? You were a college athlete. Things have changed with Twitter and social networking. His relationship was so out there. It was really a key storyline of this entire season. So he finds out. He's saying now, I found out, but I didn't say anything to my teammates because we were preparing for the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, I give him credit for maybe not doing that because of the elevation of a national championship game and trying not to distract his team. However, you're right. I mean, in my day with all this social media stuff, first of all, I couldn't imagine having a girlfriend that I didn't hug, hold a hand, or walk around with, let alone doing this, you know, having a relationship on the internet. So it's definitely a different deal. Again, it's so hard to take because there's so much missing in the story. And primarily it's Manti Te'o. And at some point in some time, I'm sure and I hope he's going to come out and clear up some of the confusion here.
All right. Thank you so much, Ty.